Yeah. The reason why is because before I want to discuss with you about um, what is
What's your name?
Raihan, Carlos, yeah?
I'm Alessandro. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry, Alexandra.
Alessandro.
Alexandra.
Sheikh Mohammed, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, Alexandra, so the reason why is because I think as Muslims, it's important that we stay our position. Um, First of all, we believe that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He is the only creator, He's the only provider, and He's the only sustainer of all creation, and therefore He alone deserves to be worshipped. And therefore, we do not associate any partners with Him, whether they're angels, whether they're lords, whether they're prophets. They're not worthy to be worshipped because they're in need of Allah, right? And that He possesses all of perfect names and attributes, all knowing, all wise. And there's a small chapter in the Quran which is called Surah Ikhlas, which gives a comprehensive definition of God. And I want you to tell me whether it agrees with you or not. It says, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad." Say He is Allah, absolute one. Allahu samad, Allah the self-sufficient. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is He born. Wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing equal to Him. This is the comprehensive definition of God. Because, to be honest with you, I don't like to use the term God. Because it depends which religious background you come from.
Sure. The definition of what God is would change.
Is different, yeah. Now, you mentioned that you came from a Christian background. Is that right?
Yeah. My mum's side of the family is Italian. They're Catholic.
Right. What we would say is that Islam is the only religion that actually goes in line with your natural inclination in terms of the belief of the Creator. Because what happened is there are other religions, they have a different concept of God that goes against your natural inclination. For example, the doctrine of the Trinity.
Okay.
The doctrine of the Trinity does not even make
I've heard
sense.
this argument before,
Yeah? So that goes against your natural inclination. That how can you believe three distinct persons but one God at the same time? How can you worship Jesus, who was a man, he used to eat and drink, he was dependent, he's a needy? They do not depict all perfect being, right? God is perfect. God is perfect in His knowledge and His wisdom. So therefore, anything that resembles God is not worthy to be worshipped. Yeah. So this is why we as Muslims, what we're calling you to Islam, which agrees with your natural inclination. Because the reason you may have, the reason why you may have fallen into atheism is because of you've been brought up in a Christian environment. You've been brought up by parents who taught you that Jesus is God.
No, they
That
weren't really very religious. We're more culturally religious.
culturally, but even then culturally, you still had some contact.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I went to Catholic school.
You went to Catholic school, yeah? So this is why it goes against your counterintuitiveness. This is why when we declare our faith, we do negation affirmation. We say, La ilaha, there's none worthy of worship in truth. Meaning that we negate everything to be worshipped besides Allah. Yeah? Except Allah. Except Allah, the creator of heavens and the earth, who possesses all perfect names and attributes, and there's nothing like His creation. He's all powerful, all knowing. Does that agree with your heart and your mind at this moment? This concept of God?
Well, I would say if there is a God, then that would have to be the case.
But we're not mentioning God now, we're mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I understand what you're saying.
Does that agree with your heart and your mind? Because the fact that the fact that atheism, your position of atheism is due to Christianity.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Culturally.
You know what it is? I just think that there's a lot of double standards in religion in general, a lot of hypocrisy in religion in general. And so,
We're just talking about natural theology. We're just talking about what do you naturally believe in this creator without the need of revelation, right?
to be honest,
I haven't proven to you that Islam is true
I
yet.
understand
What
what
I'm
you're
saying is
saying.
that Islam is the only religion that agrees with your natural inclination. That if I was
as
to
in,
ask
if
it,
if I never knew anything about any religion, someone asked me what would
Yes.
God look like?
Yes.
Would I believe it would be in line with what you're saying?
Yes.
Then probably yes, I would say that.
exactly. Do you know why? Because that agrees with your human nature.
Yeah.
Because everyone is born. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said every child is born upon din fitr. Every child is born upon
Muslim, right?
is born a Muslim, meaning submitting the will to Allah alone. But it is because of the Christian, or because of the parents, because of family, they become a Jew or a Christian or fire worshipper. And actually, this is actually proven in extensive studies. For example, Professor Justin Barrett from Oxford University, he's a professor in cognitive psychology of religions, and it was like a 3-year study where they got all of the infants together and they put them on an island. So without any influence from their parents, from their family, and they've all come to conclusion, but that when they're put in an island, when they see the nature around them, they say, look, the rivers, they have a purpose. The stones, they have a purpose. The giraffe, they have a purpose. And, we humans didn't build this stuff. So the question is, why am I here? I must have existed. Somebody must have created me. So by the time they reach the age of 4, they all accept the existence of a higher power. That is nothing like his creation. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said this more than 1,400 years ago. This is why Islam known as Din al-Fitr. It's a natural way of life. It's naturally inclining to what you already believe, but because of your nurture, because of your environment, you haven't heard the correct understanding of God.
I understand what you're saying, but I think I'm just expressing my opinion. You know what I mean?
Sure.
No, it's
I think
fine.
it's a bit of a simplistic argument. You know what I mean? In a sense that just because human beings are naturally inclined to believe that all things have a purpose and there's a higher power that chose what that purpose would be, that doesn't necessarily prove that that's the truth. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the starting point. That's the starting point in your quest of knowing why you exist, where you're going to go, is there an afterlife? Because this is why I've spoken to many atheists. I don't even go into the debate. All I'm doing is we're just stating our position, our belief in God.
That's what I mean.
Our belief in Allah
Listen.
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
If a Christian comes up to you and they explain to you the doctrine of the Trinity, or if a Hindu comes to you and say, I believe in God, that's a blue man monkey, who's a stone or a statue, immediately you would say, nah, this kind of God I can never worship. Yeah? But a Muslim like myself and the brothers here, when we explain to you our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is absolute one, that He is self-sufficient, that He doesn't have children and He is not born, there is nothing like Him, immediately that clicks in your heart. But that doesn't mean that Islam is true at the moment. It's just a starting point. So I would say that there's no problem with the understanding of Allah in Islam, but you will have an issue with the understanding of God in other religions.
So can I ask you a question? What is the purpose of life? Why are we here?
Yes.
Where did we came from?
I think that it's up to each man to decide the purpose of their own life. We define ourselves. That's what I think personally.
But if we establish look, I don't believe that you're an atheist.
Why?
Because you're only an atheist due to the wrong concept of God.
Yeah,
It's not that.
Christianity.
It's not that.
Because of
Can I
Christianity.
tell you
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
So, you guys as Muslims, you guys believe that the Prophet Muhammad,
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yep.
Peace be upon him.
he's an example for all time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then, like I said, I've got a Quran at home. I've watched videos, different things like that, and there's a lot of things in there I don't agree with. In regards to some of the things that the Prophet preached, and I say this with the utmost respect. It's just my opinion.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean? That I don't agree with, and some of the things that it's written that he did, and so on and so forth. And so, for me, if the Prophet's supposed to be a model for all time, but then I see things in there that I think go against my morality.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, no, one second. Go, carry on.
I think I know where he's going.
Carry on.
Well, there's a lot of different things. It's not
But at
just
the
one
moment
thing.
we're talking about the concept of God, yeah?
We're talking about the concept of God because it comes in steps. Because you know the fact that when you brought up about questioning the character of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
It's not the character necessarily.
the morality, it's still the
Some
same.
of the
It's still
decisions that
it's still the same.
made,
It's a moral inquiry. But I'm talking about the concept of God right now.
Yeah, the Tawheed is
And
talking
so,
about the oneness of God.
I don't disagree with you on the concept of God, on your understanding of God.
Right.
Were I to believe in a God,
Yeah. So can we move on then? So you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
it's not that. That's not that I believe in
That's
God.
where we have to start off.
No. It's not that I believe in Allah. It's that
No, but you have to make
if
a
there
point,
were a
yeah?
God, and someone told me that's what the God was, I wouldn't have anything to disagree with that. I think that that's a very accurate depiction of what an all-powerful God would be like.
Yeah. Do you know why? Because that agrees with your natural inclination. But that it's not a proof that Islam is true at the moment. I'm just telling you that the only religion that explains the concept of God like that is Islam. So therefore, yeah, this is for you. It's a free for you. Yeah.
Game, drink as well.
Drink as well. Give me a drink.
We've got it for everyone. It's fine.
Go on. So basically, what we're saying is that look, there's three things: the nature of God, preservation of Scripture, and signs of true prophethood. These are the three matters.
Lord.
If we can establish all of these three matters, that Islam is true, yeah, that first of all, the Islamic concept of God, we both agree that disagrees with our heart and our sound intellect, right? All powerful, all knowledgeable being. He's nothing like his creation. He doesn't eat and drink. He's not a monkey, statue. He alone deserves to be worshipped, yeah? What I would say, Alexandra, sorry. What I would say is that, look, the one who created you is the one that should give you the purpose of life. Yeah? Just like, for example, you have this, like, even a simple example like a bottle. The one who manufactured the bottle is the one who's going to put the purpose. What about the human being like yourself, which is far more complex? I'll give you one argument from the Quran. Yeah, this is a very powerful argument, and I think, look, what I would advise that, look, people become atheists due to many reasons, psychological reasons,
And this is what I was telling you
social
earlier.
reasons.
So you don't think it's a natural people would naturally just be atheists?
It's unnatural to become atheist once you understand the concept of God in Islam.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Definitely, yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And this is what I was telling you earlier. That what is the criteria? Yeah, of you becoming an atheist, because I told you, like, there are some people, they come from a scientific background,
Yeah.
and some people they come from a logical background or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to understand more
Yeah.
in order to go through it.
So look, here's the two verses of the Quran I want to share with you, because the Quran came here to make us reflect about ourselves, that there must be the creator. You look at yourselves, you look at the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation night and the day. But this particular verse, it would really hit you. It says that, has there not come upon man a period of time when he was not a thing even mentioned? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, chapter 76, verse 1. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's first questioning you that, look, you didn't exist at one point. Do you agree? I didn't exist 100 years ago, you didn't exist 100 years ago. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he wants you to ponder that, look, you were non-existent. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gives you the explanation how we came into existence. Allah says, indeed we created man from a sperm drop mixture, that we may try him, and we made him hearing and seeing. Indeed we guided him to the way, be he grateful or be the ungrateful. So subhanallah, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that, look, 100 years ago we all didn't exist, but we all came from a sperm drop, a liquid. If I was to tell you that this water, with no consciousness, with no agency, is able to create as complex as you, with the hearing, with intelligence, with sight, you would say this is absolutely ludicrous. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, must have been the one who created you. Because a drop of water, the seminal fluid, yeah, the sexual discharge, right? That in itself is a liquid. How can something liquid that has no consciousness, that doesn't even have the capacity to create anything that's intelligent like you, how can it just come by itself? There must be the creator.
You have to ask the biologists, you know what I mean?
So who
No,
created you?
the-
Who created you?
Who
This is why.
created me?
Yeah, that's
My
the question.
parents.
No, they
What
gave
about
birth
your
to you.
parents? Hold on.
Hold
What
on,
about your parents' parents?
Well, one second,
Brother,
one second.
brother.
Sorry?
No, one second.
Okay.
What we're talking about is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning your origin. Where did you come from? Because you didn't exist 100 years ago. But Allah is telling you, where did we all come from? We all came from a sperm drop. Whether you like it or not.
No, it's true.
Yeah?
It's true, obviously.
That liquid, that fluid, you know that this doesn't have a creative agency.
I know.
So something external must have been responsible for bringing you to existence.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. I would
Why
say
not?
that, well, just because sperm hasn't got consciousness, obviously it's engineered in a way that
Who programmed it?
it's bioengineering. It's just been programmed.
But
in order to do that.
okay, look, science tells you how things work, but it doesn't tell you why things work.
Why do things have to have a meaning? Why does everything have to mean something?
Good question. That's where science cannot answer.
I understand what you're saying. I know it can't.
It doesn't negate the existence of the creator.
Of course not. I never said that.
Yeah?
But what I'm questioning is why does sperm need to have a meaning? Or you know what I mean? Why does it need to have meaning? Why don't things just be as they are?
It's signs of God's creation. He created us that way.
He created us for a purpose.
He created us for a purpose. That's what I'm telling you. He created us for a purpose.
On
And
an individual level. you believe?
everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created all of us for one
And
purpose.
do you think we all, regardless of what we like, we all end up following that purpose that He created us for? Or do you think
Allah
that
has given you
sometimes we don't?
Allah has given you the choice.
I see. Okay.
Allah has given you the
You
choice.
have a
Yeah?
free will in this life.
Yeah. So Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created jinn and mankind except to worship me alone. That is the purpose of our creation. Why? Because Allah tells us in the Quran, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ ذَمَّ كَفَارٌ. That if you were to count the blessings of Allah, you will never be able to count. Indeed, mankind is most ungrateful and unjust to themselves. If I was to ask you a question, if I was to give you £2 million, what would you say to me?
I've heard this argument before.
Okay,
I'd say thank you very much.
thank you. Then you should know the
Do you
answer.
not think
The one who gave
the
2 eyes
person
for
that
free.
Of course, yeah, I understand. I've heard this argument. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the argument already. Yeah. So this is why what we're calling you to Islam, which is based upon the natural way of life. It's naturally inclining, not to believe in multiplicity of gods, not to believe. Yeah. Now we accepted that there is the creator, the perfect creator.
You've accepted that. In theory, there is.
I'm only here to convey the message of Islam.
yeah,
But I believe, look, I can tell from your demeanor, from your mannerisms, I could see from your body language that disagrees with you. Whether you want to accept it or not, that's up to you. Whether you want to submit to that creator alone, that's up to you. I'm here just to convey the message of Islam.
It's interesting that you think that.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
it.
accept
Because
what
Allah,
he said to you
because
so
Allah
far.
says, yeah,
Well,
Because
He
you
does,
have to
he does.
make an argument if you don't accept it. Otherwise, you surrender your will to the Creator.
is that what you think?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Because he's here proving to you with evidence, with logical,
No,
rational.
it's not really evident.
Look,
It's all kind of, you know, it's like, for me, it sounds like emotional conjecture. Like, it's all from an emotional standpoint.
it's not emotional. It's something that is already instinctive.
You believe that?
No,
I don't believe that.
no. Instinctively, whoever created this, you're going to give him perfect attributes, all-knowing, all-powerful. He's nothing like his creation, right? But because you're brought up in a different environment where they didn't teach you that correct understanding of God, that's what led you to atheism. But now I've explained to you our belief in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that agrees with your natural inclination, that agrees with your sound intellect, that He is absolute one, that He's self-sufficient, He doesn't eat and drink, He's independent, that He doesn't have children, He's not born, there is nothing like Him. That comprehensive definition of Allah, that agrees with your heart. It agrees with your heart and your sound intellect.
It does.
Exactly. So now,
There's also an argument says that
Yes.
if you can imagine a perfect being, that being must exist. So, you know,
yeah, but
that
okay,
argument too. But what I'd
Yeah.
say is,
but that's not a strong argument.
I know, it's just something that people say. But
But what do you say?
what do I say?
Yeah, that correct that tawheed
I think that.
that agrees with your heart and your mind.
With my heart,
yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know if it does or
your heart. Look, I explained to you the concept of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in Islam,
Yeah.
and I said to you, does it make sense to you? Does it
does
agree
make
with you?
sense, it does make
If it makes sense, then it's true.
I can't.
Yeah, definitely, it's true. That,
Otherwise, what's the opposite of not making sense? Of making sense? Not making sense. Illogical.
or not true.
Because
Something can be logical, but I don't know.
No, 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 we've-
Philosophy is a bit of a. It's a bit of a pit. You
Okay.
can dig yourself in. You can believe all sorts of things.
okay, let me tell you this. There's two different types of knowledge. And this is from Islam as well. Ilm daruriya, necessary knowledge. Ilm nadhri, speculative knowledge. I'll give you an evidence where you believe something to be true but you can't prove it. Let me give you an evidence. The fire is hot. Can you prove to me the fire is hot? You can't, because hot is something abstract.
Well, the degree of hotness is abstract, sure.
That's abstract.
Yeah, okay, fine.
But you can't put it under but why do we believe it? It's self-evident. But there are speculative knowledge where now you require investigation. Like, for example, did a murder took place or not? So what I'm telling you, the belief in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, you know it by necessity. It's self-evident. Because Allah says, look, were they created? Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in am humul khaliqun. This is an argument from the Quran. I can show you. In chapter 52, verse 35 to 36 of the Quran. Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in am humul khaliqun. Were they created by nothing? You need to reflect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Think about
Am humul khaliqun. Or were they themselves the creators? Now think. Am khalaqu samawati wal ard. Or did they create the heavens and the earth? I want you to ponder. Bal la yuqinun. Rather, they are uncertain. This is not for you to answer. This is something that you already know in your heart. Because something cannot come by nothing. Something cannot create by itself. Yeah, because you cannot exist and not exist at the same time. Either you existed all the time, or you began to exist. And if you began to exist, then it requires an explanation. خَلَقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Did we create the heavens and the earth? No, no, no. We know we didn't create this magnificent creation. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why doesn't He give you the answer?
Because then it destroys the whole purpose of it.
No, because you know the answer. He doesn't need to give you the answer. But those who reject the existence of Allah, Allah talks about the psychological state of mind. بَلْ لَا يُقِنُونَ. Rather they're uncertain. You mentioned a few moments ago that we can't be certain about anything.
Yeah.
The Quran mentioned 49 years ago, this is the psychology of atheism. If you don't believe in the existence of the Creator, everything that you say is uncertain. That means including your own existence.
Yeah. No, that's well. I mean, some people do say we could be in a simulation. So.
But do you believe in that? Forget about other people.
No, I
I
don't
want
believe that.
fantastic. So therefore, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is well grounded, is solidified, and that's why we must have a purpose in life. Yeah? Who should give us the purpose of our life? The one who created us in the first place, not man. I'm not going to be a slave to human beings. I'm not going to be a slave to society.
You shouldn't be a slave to anyone.
But everyone is a slave to something.
In theory.
No,
But we all have to make a choice. Don't we?
no,
You can
that's
choose
an
to be a
illusion.
slave.
But in reality, you have a prison.
Explain that.
Okay, a prison that you can't touch and feel. Your mind. Everything that you brought up about morality, whatever, that's all because of society.
For example.
For example, don't rape.
Sure.
But then if you
you don't think that's an intrinsic kind of thing.
So
We're
you're just
born
proving-
with that kind of perception not to rape.
Absolutely. So that's proving my point, isn't it? That's something intrinsic. Yeah, that's intrinsic. But there are other societies where they've conditioned the society to say it's fine. That's the reason why 100 years ago in this country, homosexuality was illegal.
Yeah.
Now,
You don't agree that it should be legal.
yeah, but that's because of my religion, Islam.
what I mean.
Yeah, but similarly, you have a different way of life. You don't want to call it religion, that's fine. But you do follow a systematic way of life, whether you like it or not.
To be honest, I don't agree with a lot of different things that happen even in this country.
That's
It's not
fine.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like,
fine. That's
you know,
fine.
yeah.
But then we all are slaves to something. Whether you're slave to materialism, whether you're slave to gods
Celebrities
or
and-
celebrities or idols, we're all slave to something. That is the brutal
I
truth.
still don't agree with that because being a slave to something implies sort of a complete lack of control, a complete lack of choice.
No,
You have
no.
the
So
choice
this
taken
is-
from you.
Okay.
You have no
Different type
choice
of
but to
slavery.
follow whatever that
Do
thing
you
dictates.
work? Do you work?
Of course I do work. Yeah.
Why do you work?
Okay.
Why?
Why do you work?
Because it gives me satisfaction to work.
But you have to work for an employer, right?
I do work for an employer.
Yeah.
So you're selected something.
That
So,
doesn't mean you're a
so
slave.
You are.
no. A slave meaning someone you have to agree with the terms and conditions. It's just a different type of
I've
slavery.
read the contract
Yeah.
and I've decided, okay, I'm happy
Yeah.
to follow what this says.
Yeah.
So I've signed my name on it.
Yeah, but
you
it's still
have to be a
slavery.
slave.
Of course not.
Because no. Okay,
No,
would
no,
you get paid if you didn't sign the terms and conditions?
No.
So you are dictated
You're
by the
conditioned.
employer. You've been conditioned. You have to
Well,
follow.
Forget the term slavery.
Forget.
the
No.
term-
There's different types of slavery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forget the term.
Yeah. Everyone is programmed to say, oh, I need to work 9 to 5, or I need to go to university. Yeah.
Some people are.
Yeah,
I didn't
so-
go to university. I
Yeah,
did
but
very well.
but that's the point. The fact that you have to work because you have to sign the terms and conditions, you're under the authority of the employer.
Within the constraints of that
Yeah.
employment, I choose to. I could say if I don't like it, I can still quit.
Yeah, but
Do you understand what
yeah,
I'm trying to
I
say?
see what you're saying, but it's still slavery.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, fine, no problem. But we agree the existence of the Creator.
We don't agree with that. No.
We agree. You just said it. It makes sense.
The definition, if there were to be a perfect, all-powerful being,
Yes, that's the concept of God in
then
Islam.
the definition you gave me, I can't see anything with it that I find wrong.
You don't have to. Yeah, but what's that? Yeah, but that's an evidence that it has to be true.
I could define for you a being and give you the parameters of that being. And just because you said, yeah, that makes
Give me one
100%,
example.
something like that could exist.
Give me
doesn't
one.
mean it does exist.
Give me one example.
I don't know, some kind of bird that this and that doesn't mean it does exist.
You
I
can't
can
get-
define it in a way that's logical.
But you can't give me one example.
I can't.
One
Not that I
example.
Give
can't,
me
I could,
give me
but
one
I don't
example.
want to.
Give me one example that it doesn't make sense, but it's true.
It doesn't make sense, but it's true.
Yeah,
Anything.
anything.
So we'll put you on test now.
I don't know, jellyfish. Jellyfish makes sense to you?
Does jellyfish exist?
They exist.
Yeah.
So
There
it
you
makes
go.
sense, but that's circular. You're not really.
Yeah, but it exists.
But your argument is
Okay,
circular.
I'll turn that back on you. Yeah?
Okay.
Did dinosaurs exist?
Dinosaurs exist. Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Why not? It doesn't affect my religion.
They did exist.
Hmm?
They did exist. What about evolution? Did we evolve?
Sorry?
Did we evolve? As human beings, did
Yeah.
we evolve from a common ancestor?
No.
You don't believe that?
No, I don't
But
believe
there's
in
evidence
that.
for it.
Sorry?
There's evidence for it.
No, there's no evidence.
There's no evidence for it.
No, there's no evidence.
Going
You're
back
making
to the Darwin
assumptions.
theory,
I'm
no.
not making assumptions.
Okay. Do you know how the scientific method works?
Well, yeah.
Okay, you explain to me.
You make a claim, but you have to substantiate it with evidence.
No, that's not scientific method.
Okay, so
I'll explain to you. Scientific method is a collection of data that has to be done through repeatability, experimentation, and repeatability. Right. When you were talking about the Darwinian evolution, that's something we cannot repeat it.
well, it's not that it's not Darwinian
One second.
necessarily.
If you let me finish.
Sure, go on.
It's something that you cannot repeat. It's not something that you cannot observe. It's not something that you can test. So, and also, in science, you have called the hypothesis, and you have theory. Okay. Hypothesis is basically a set of propositions, but no evidence. So you can make a statement. I believe in X, Y, and Z. That's a hypothesis. A theory means there is an overwhelming evidence, but it's provisional.
Right.
But it's provisional,
Meaning, original meaning what?
meaning that it can open to be incorrect.
Oh, I see, okay.
Right. So Darwin evolution is just the best explanation. It's not certain.
There are,
According to scientific model.
I understand what you're saying, but we do have, biological evidence that
You haven't.
of different beings,
You haven't.
precursors to Homo sapiens.
You haven't.
I've seen them. I've been to the museum. I've seen them.
No, I think
No,
you're
no.
talking about adaptation.
That's all. That's all. You're making.
Animal kingdom.
Wait. You're using a philosophical tool called the inference to the best explanation.
Yeah.
It's not based on.
Explain what you mean by that.
Okay. Basically, you have these fossil evidences, right? And you have like segmented, scattered evidences, and all you're doing is you're trying to put it together and reconstruct. That's the best you do. You haven't got, because you're talking about a process of millions of years. So how can you? So therefore, whether you like it or not, you put your faith. You actually put your faith in Darwin evolution.
It's not that I put my faith in it. Whether or not we really did evolve in the way
Yes.
Darwin described,
Yes.
it changed my life
But
in
it's
a way.
but it's not the same level of evidence as bacteria, because we can
Sure,
because
that's true.
right. So
What I
you
would say,
so
can I
would you
just say?
but would you say that you have a degree of faith
In
Darwin evolution? You have faith in Darwin
have
evolution.
faith
There you go.
that
So
the
I have faith. I have
individual-
faith in the creator.
No, I don't have faith. I don't have faith in Darwin evolution, but
Well,
I
why
have
do you
faith in
trust
the
Darwin?
wait.
No.
But where I do have faith is that the individuals who've made the life's work to explain where we've come from. If they say for now, this is the best thing we can come up with,
Yeah.
based on the evidence we have at the moment, I'll say okay, fair enough. But then, just like you said, the
Yeah.
theory,
But sir, you put your testimony in men.
Uh-huh.
You put your faith in men. I'll give you one evidence from the Quran,
100%.
and I want you to reflect, because in reality, you don't actually have hardcore evidences for Darwin evolution. You're just going by the testimony of
It's
scientists.
not testimony though. There's physical evidence of things that have existed that
and
are
who-
not Homo sapiens.
And who tested those evidences? You?
It doesn't matter.
Why not?
What's the point of lying about it? They're going to just come up with it for no reason.
No. You put your faith in men.
It's not faith. I'm telling you,
No, you're-
logically speaking, why would they just say something's true if it isn't?
No. The point is this, Alexandra. You haven't done the experiment for yourself. You actually put your faith in the scientists who did those
Yeah, but
experiments.
if the only thing
And they
anyone
were-
ever believes is empirical evidence,
Yeah.
then nothing will ever be believed.
Okay. We're talking about Darwin evolution that happened millions of years ago, and we weren't there.
There's plenty of
Okay.
different things that are like that.
There's
We
one.
still,
There's
you know-
one verse in the Quran.
Go on.
There's one verse in the Quran, and it's related to this point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allah says, "I did not make them, mankind and jinn. I do not make them witness to the creation of the heavens and the earth, or to the creation of themselves. I would not have taken the misguided as assistants."
Sorry.
Okay.
The last bit I didn't catch yet.
Okay.
I would not have taken.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No need to apologize. He said, "I do not make them witness to the creation of the heavens and the earth, or to the creation of themselves, and I will not have taken the misguided as assistants." So
I see.
what Allah is telling us here is that, look, you didn't witness your own creation, you didn't witness to the creation of the heavens and the earth, but all of your conclusions about Darwin evolution, that's only because you're going by what the scientists have mentioned, and you put your faith in the scientists.
They've not led us astray so far.
They're not led astray so far. Okay, did anyone say Darwin evolution is a fact?
No, of course not.
So,
It's a theory.
okay, so it's a theory. So it could be wrong.
Of course.
Okay,
Can change.
but the Quran on the other hand is something that we can objectively proven to be true.
You say that.
I say that, look, the reason why I believe in Adam and Eve is because the Quran says so and the Sunnah.
So I mean, exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's not a weak argument because
Well,
you're
you
going
don't
by the
think
same
so.
but you're going by the same paradigm. Look, I believe in Adam and Eve because
I
Allah.
understand what you're saying. You're comparing in the sense that you
Yeah.
believe something based off something. I believe something based off something. I
Exactly,
get what you're saying.
exactly,
I do understand.
exactly.
I do
Yeah.
understand.
So this is the point I'm making, Alexandra, is that look, you mentioned yourself that Darwin evolution is not a fact; it's a theory, meaning that it's provisional and it can be open to be incorrect.
But that's the point. They're willing to say we could be wrong.
Yeah.
But if we're wrong, we'll amend and we'll tell you what's correct.
Why do they say that?
Why?
Yes.
Because they acknowledge that at the end of the day, we weren't there. We can't know 100%. But based off what we can collect,
Yes.
this is what we believe so far.
Yeah.
1,000 years in the future,
Yeah.
1,000 years from now, I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll know much more.
So how
Whereas religion
yeah,
says,
yeah.
this is the truth, there's no
Yeah.
interpretation,
Yeah.
there's no room for error, and there's no amendments. Do you know what I mean?
But do you believe in objective truth?
There is only one truth. Yes,
There's only one truth.
There is only one objective.
So if
truth.
I
At the end
pro-
of the day,
right.
there is only one truth. Yes, definitely.
So
Whether
there's
or not
only
we
one
can
truth.
find it, yeah. Whether or not we can find it or not is different. But
Right.
there's
So,
only one
so
truth.
Quran is
but,
claiming to be
right.
objective.
I know.
Yeah. That's
But
the point.
I don't think.
The point is that look, Darwin evolution doesn't actually disprove the existence of God, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know.
It doesn't.
Does the Quran say that we evolved from apes?
So now you're talking about revelation, but we're talking about the concept of God before.
Oh, okay. But you said the Quran, that's why.
I know, but because you brought up Darwin evolution. My point is that look, I believe in Adam and Eve because of the Quran, because I've verified that this is the word from Allah, that this is from His messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
What criteria did you use to verify that?
Okay, the criteria. So all right, before we progress in this, because I believe in progression, do we agree that whether you accept it or not, frankly speaking, I'm not here to force you. I'm here just to convey the message of Islam, yeah? So far, we've explained the concept of God in Islam, that He is absolute one, He's self-sufficient, He doesn't have children, He's not born, there's nothing like Him. So this agrees with your heart and your mind. All of us, that concept of God agrees with your heart and mind. Any other religious understanding of God wouldn't make sense to you. You know, worshipping Jesus,
I don't
worshipping.
think, I mean, to be fair, I know I said earlier
Yes.
that it makes sense. But it's
Whether
not-
you like it or not, it makes sense to you. Whether you agree or not, it makes sense.
I don't think it does really make sense.
Okay,
Not
that's
really.
because, okay. Respectfully speaking, Alexandro, I believe the reason why you're saying this is because you're following your desires.
No, you know what it is? I'll be
I'll
honest
I'll
with
tell you why. Because you want to be your own sovereign individual. You want to control your own way.
Well, I
but-
think everyone wants that deep down,
But
it's
in
not
reality,
the-
there's something.
it's not- that's
in-
not
in-
misleading what I'm saying.
One second. The reality is, Alexandro, is that there are certain things that is beyond your control.
Sure, definitely, 100%.
For example, where you're born. Did you choose where to born? Okay.
Did you choose your parents?
Did you choose your parents?
Yeah, but you can't just tell me you know why I'm saying something and then let me tell you why I'm
No,
saying
but that's the psychology
That's
of
what you
atheism.
believe.
No, but that's the
You
psychology.
can't possibly have any idea why I think what I think.
No, it's the psychology of
Would
atheism.
you like me to tell you why I said that, or would you want to assume why I said it?
No, because you said it before that look, it makes sense, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what you said, and I'm saying whether you believe it's true or not, I don't know what's in your heart, but so far it agrees with you. The concept of God in Islam, it agrees with you.
It doesn't agree with me. No. It makes sense from a logical perspective. I can't find a fallacy with your explanation. of
It
what
makes
God
sense,
is.
but it doesn't agree with you. How does that make sense?
How does it make
Please,
sense?
please rationalize it, because I'm trying to have a rational discussion. What I see atheism, it's not very. They never come up with any rational explanation. I always see that those who believe in the Creator always provides rational evidences.
Have I been irrational?
Well, up until this point, I would say you're being irrational now. Because if you're saying that the concept of God in Islam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Tawheed, the oneness of God, that He alone deserves to be worshipped, He's all powerful, all knowledgeable, there's nothing like His creation. If that makes sense to you, and then you say, but I don't agree with you, then I have to question why you believe this was a rational response.
Can I tell you why?
Hold on.
Yes, yes.
On what basis don't you agree with him? Let's come to that.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. Okay. So when I say I agree with that definition, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is there's nothing that counteracts itself. There's nothing in your explanation about what God is that I could say, right, that doesn't make sense. It's not that I'm saying that I agree or believe or don't believe in God. What I'm saying to you is,
You're struggling.
you know what it is?
It's
I
okay.
forgot my train of thought.
It's okay.
But what I'm saying to you is that your definition of God makes sense from a logical perspective. But
It's not just logical; it's innate, instinctive.
you think that. I don't think it's instinctive. I wasn't born believing in God.
Do
I've
you,
never
do, you-
ever
do, you-
believed
wait,
in God.
wait, do you, okay, but for example, you know the causation principle of causality. Every cause there's an effect. Okay. Did your parents teach you that?
Teach me what?
Did your parents teach you that every cause there's an effect?
No, I taught myself.
You taught yourself. So where'd you get the knowledge from?
Reading.
Sorry?
Common sense, reading, learning, experiences in life.
Okay. If I throw this bottle in front of you, would you naturally look back or front?
Definitely look right at you, yeah.
Yeah, because that's instinctive. That's my point.
True. There are things that are instant.
Right.
definitely,
So so that instinctive knowledge, and by the way, this is discussed in philosophy as well. Even Aristotle, Plato, they discussed about the innate knowledge, that we've been given certain knowledge that's innate.
True.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Alexandra, that look, not everything that is true means it has to be verified. These are self-evident truths,
But we should try
like
to
consciousness.
Yeah.
You believe in
But
consciousness, right?
Just because we innately know something to be true,
Yes.
doesn't mean we shouldn't try to verify anyway. You know what I mean?
No, but you utilize your innate knowledge to reason. That's my point.
Yeah.
Because
we
we've
can,
right.
But then we still want to find out for sure.
But
don't we?
you can't rationalize without knowledge. Okay, so we have to utilize certain tools that we have been given instinctively to arrive at the truth. So when I explain to you about the concept of Allah in Islam, right, you utilize your reasoning, yeah, but it also agrees with you instinctively. It's like, for example, you have a seatbelt. For example, you have the seatbelt.
Hung up on this idea that that you think that I've instinctively agreed with this perception of what God is. Why is that very important to you?
Because your response says so. Because you say that I agree, but sorry, it makes sense, but I don't agree. And I'm just
I mean I don't believe in that God. That's what I mean.
okay.
by that.
Belief is different, but I'm saying okay, you're entitled to your belief.
Yeah.
I've said it many times that look, I'm here to convey the message of Islam. I'm not here to force you. I'm not here to debate with you, because I would have actually respectfully ended the discussion if somebody says it doesn't make sense to me. Off you go.
Yeah.
I would say have a good day. But the fact that you said that it makes sense, but what didn't really make sense to me is when you said, but I don't agree.
Well, by I don't agree. What I mean is that I don't believe in that God. That's what I'm trying to say.
No problem, but what is belief?
It's a leap of faith. That's what it is.
No.
It's saying I believe something even though I don't know 100%.
No. Belief is conviction, certainty, knowledge. That's belief. Trust.
But your trust can always be broken.
Do you trust that?
something and it can not be true?
Well, do you? Do you not accept testimonial evidence?
No,
You don't accept testimonial evidence?
it's not good enough.
Just like Darwin evolution, you accept the testimony of scientists.
But it's not just testing, there's other things too.
But you didn't verify yourself, did you? You didn't do those experiments directly.
Yeah, but I don't need to.
But you,
I don't care that much.
you
That's
say
what I
that,
mean.
you say that, but you do actually in reality.
What do you mean?
Because you only know about Darwin evolution, whatever the case, because of what the scientists have said. You haven't directly done your own observation. You haven't done the experiment for
But if
yourself.
someone came to me tomorrow and said, well, actually, it's not true, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't mind. I was going to live my life.
Yeah, that's
but
again testimony.
religion-
That's testimony.
Right, but I can't believe a religion based solely upon
It's
testimony.
no. Forget about
understand what I'm
I'm not talking about religion, right? I'm just talking about source of knowledge. Yeah, it's
That wouldn't be good enough.
source of knowledge. Okay, why is that not good enough for you?
It's not good enough for me. Well, it's good enough for me to say that could be true, but it's not good enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to change the way I live my life.
Yeah, but you're
based
sitting on the
upon that.
fence. You're actually sitting on the fence.
About what?
Okay, so this is why I'm saying you're following your desires, because it doesn't care for you. If it's true, it's not true. If it's false, then it's false. I can move on in life.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but for us, we have a purpose in life.
I know. That's
Yeah.
what you believe.
So this is why I'm saying, Alexandra, that look, this is why Allah says in the Quran that do you not see the one who takes his desires as his own God? Meaning, look, what Allah is mentioning here is that look, there are certain people that follow their desires. Yeah? Meaning that look, I don't care if it comes out to be false. I'm still going to carry on the way how I live. Okay, fine, that's your choice. But then you can't ignore the facts that there is God that exists.
That's not fact.
Sorry?
That's not fact.
That's not fact.
I don't think so.
It's consciousness fact. Can you test it?
Yeah, but conflating two different things that prove
That's
something
that's
else.
not complete. I'm
I
just
don't
talking
know
about
if I agree with
I'm talking about consistency. Do you believe in consciousness?
that. I don't need to believe in consciousness.
I didn't ask you whether do you accept there is consciousness.
I accept that when I wake up, I believe I exist, and I have to live my life somehow and go on.
Yeah.
And so, if that means believing that consciousness is real,
So how
for
certain
my
do you
own sanity, then I
how,
will
how,
do it.
how certain do you exist?
How certain am I that I exist?
Yeah.
About 100% certain.
About 100% certain. And who taught you that?
Nobody.
So it's innate, instinctive. Where did that instinctive knowledge come from?
It came from just waking up every day and thinking, having a brain.
That's not answering the question. That's just the outcome. I'm asking you, where did you get that innate knowledge from?
Well, it wasn't God. At least
I
don't
didn't say
think
about
so.
God. I'm just questioning where did you get the knowledge from?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
No idea. All I know is that
You don't believe it's self-evident truth. That's self-evident truth. Consciousness is self-evident truth, but we can't verify it.
I understand what you're saying, but you see, you know why I get a bit tripped up when you ask me that kind of question? Because
Okay.
it's true that it's self-evident, right? That instinctively we understand that we're
Yeah.
conscious and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I would like to have an answer as to why.
But I would like you to give me the answer why, after explaining to you the concept of God in Islam, when you say that it makes sense, but you don't agree. Is that a rational response?
Something can make sense in theory. Doesn't mean I have to believe that it's true.
I didn't say about belief. That's up to you. That's your choice. I'm just saying, it's talking about statements of facts. Yeah, because look, with all due respect, I think we can both agree that feelings doesn't take facts don't take feelings into consideration. Okay, fine. So we're not talking about your feelings. We're talking about factual statements. Yeah. So that's why I'm going to ask you again, just kindly, if you could kindly explain to me why, after we explain to you the concept of God in Islam, not concept of God in Christianity, whatever, but just the explanation of Allah in Islam, when you said it makes sense, but you don't agree.
Well, I explained to you why I said that. So I told you when I say I don't agree, it's because I'm saying I don't. You explaining to me your definition of God doesn't then lead me to believe in that God. Does that make sense? That's
No,
what
no,
I'm
no.
saying.
I'm talking about the concept.
Yeah. The concept.
Allah is not the God of Muslims. Allah is the God of all mankind.
I understand you.
Okay? Yeah? Not like God of Israel and all that stuff, no. Allah is the God of all mankind. Ilahin Nas. Rabbil Alameen. He's the sustainer, the Lord of all creation. Okay? So don't think of a Muslim concept of God.
That's not what I'm trying to say.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So kindly explain to me why it agrees, why you say it agrees, sorry, it makes sense, but you don't agree. Is that a rational response?
You're hung up on that, but I've already explained it to you.
But is that do you believe that's a logical response?
As in that statement.
Yes.
The
Be
statement,
honest.
is it logical?
Yes.
It makes sense, but I don't agree.
Yes.
It can be. It
Give me
depends
one
if then-
example.
It depends. Well, it would make sense if then I told you this is why I don't agree.
But no. You're still not answering my question. I'm saying that after explaining to you the concept of God in Islam, and then when I asked you, does it make sense to you, say everything makes sense to me, but I don't agree. I'm just trying to understand, because I don't know what's in your mind,
Because it
but I
makes
want you
sense,
to
but I
tell
don't
me.
believe it's true. That's what
Sorry?
it is. It makes sense. What you're saying
Yeah.
in theory.
Yes.
It all makes sense. It all fits together nicely.
Yeah.
You painted the picture.
So that's
of
true.
What you believe God is.
Then it's true.
But I don't believe it's true.
But it has to be.
Okay, can square triangle exist at the same time?
Doesn't matter. Listen.
Wait, no, wait, it does.
Someone can
Wait,
say
Alexandra,
something
Alexandra,
and it makes sense and it not be true.
Alexandra.
Yeah.
Why do you say it doesn't matter?
Because I don't like that idea of kind of
Why not?
conflating two different things. I don't.
No.
Just because a square triangle doesn't exist doesn't mean if something, the way you've explained it makes sense.
No.
Doesn't mean it has to be true.
No. Why doesn't that matter to you? When I give you the example, square triangle, because you know.
You're conflating two different things.
No, it's consistency.
But let's just say, let me give you an example of this then. Let's just say if, in theory, if I could prove that a square triangle exists, oh, we know I can't, but let's say if I could prove
Okay.
a square triangle doesn't exist,
Okay.
does that mean God doesn't exist?
Sorry.
If I could prove a square triangle exists, does that
If
mean
if
God
I prove to you Darwin evolution, if you prove to me Darwin evolution exists, does that mean God doesn't
No,
exist?
it doesn't. That's what I mean.
It doesn't make sense what you're saying.
No.
It doesn't make sense. What Alexandra, look, listen to your example. Your example doesn't discount the existence of God. I'm talking about the principle.
I didn't mention the.
No, are you saying that there's a logical contradiction?
No, I'm saying I don't like having conversations in which you use kind of a binary example like a logical fallacy to explain your belief in your
But
God.
I want to be educated as to why you say that the concept of God in Islam agrees with you. But sorry, it makes sense to you, but it doesn't agree with you. I just want to understand why.
Because just because
If you say you don't know, then you don't know. Then we move on.
I don't know. It just doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. That's all.
But why is not
Something
true?
can make
He's
sense
asking.
and not be true.
But then but then when I asked you, do you believe there's objective truth? You say yes. So what's the definition of truth?
There's only one truth.
What does truth mean?
The thing that is real, in fact.
If I say
Actuality.
if I say something exists and that same thing doesn't exist at the same time, can that be true? Can square triangle exist? Can it be
Because
true?
we've defined what a square is and what a
Right.
triangle
Does
is.
it make right? Does it make sense that square triangle exists? So it doesn't make sense. Can we then agree? Can we then agree that it doesn't exist? Okay. If the concept of God in Islam makes sense to you, why don't you agree then? I'm just talking about your consistency. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll give you an example, right?
Okay.
Let's just say this. Let's say me and you having a conversation about something else. I ask you, what do you do with your day? And you tell me a bunch of things that happened. And I say, that makes sense. Does that mean you're telling the truth?
That's
Let's say you were
subjective.
lying.
That's subjective.
But this could also be subjective. From my perspective, you're telling me things you believe to be true. For you, they're objective. For me, you're telling me your opinion on what your belief is.
I don't have to because both of us agree.
You have to first
That's
agree.
what I'm
You
saying.
have to prove
It
it
does-
doesn't exist.
Wait,
You
wait,
have to
wait,
have
wait,
evidence.
no, Alexandra, look,
But you agree with
Alexandra,
it makes sense, right?
look, you haven't said it directly, but implicitly you do agree with us.
Did you say it
I
makes
said
sense?
implicitly.
I believe in
Don't
the
worry,
sense
it's
that
fine, it's fine,
you painted
Alexandra.
the picture, that picture makes sense. It's not like there's a face with an ear on the forehead or whatever. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Oh,
mean
but you
it's
don't
true.
agree the painter exists.
No. That's not what I said. What I said is.
But that's the conclusion.
No. It's not. You've painted you as a human being, not God. You as a human being have told me a set of things. The things you said, logically, they all fit together. It doesn't mean they're true. You can make an argument, a logical argument, a
You have to
theory. You
disprove
can say
it, though.
something, it makes sense, doesn't mean it's true.
Then prove it's false.
I don't have to prove it's false.
So are you agnostic then? So you're not an atheist, you're an agnostic.
Be
Then.
wrong.
I don't know. I'm an agnostic. I live my life as an atheist.
You said you're an
but I
atheist.
don't-
Oh, I see where
live
you're coming
my
from.
life as an atheist,
I see where you're
but-
coming from.
But I'm not saying 100% God will exist.
Do you think that's logical? Do you really think that's the way we can operate in life?
I really, with all my heart, believe that God doesn't exist.
I don't.
Enough to say I'm not going to change the way I live my life.
After we explain to the Islamic conception of God, you can never be an atheist.
What do you mean?
Because you just said it makes sense. Whether you agree or not, I don't really care, to be honest.
Why do you think me saying it makes sense?
It's okay, Alex. It's okay, Alex. It's for you to think about. It's for you to think about. All I'm here is with.
You're being a bit arrogant.
I'm not being arrogant because your statement is proof. You don't need to tell me. You've said it already.
Explain to me how that makes sense. If I tell you something,
Right.
and you're going to use something I've said, maybe without thinking a little bit.
Does the doctrine of the Trinity make sense?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
You just
in the
said
sense
you-
that
you just
if
said-
there's no vow for God and God is not dependent, then it wouldn't make sense for then God to be a human being. And
Look,
so no, it
look,
doesn't make sense.
look. We've had many conversations with Christians, even with Muslims, and
You can dismount the argument.
I'm
Just
not.
like you can
I'm
dismount
not
the
here.
argument of
I'm not
Islam.
Christian.
Alexandra, sincerely speaking, I'm not here to win an argument or anything like that.
It sounds like you are a little bit.
I'm not.
But
I'm
you're
just.
very hung up on kind of this idea that I said it makes sense, and so that you think that means what?
If you said I don't know how to respond, then we can move on. But if you're trying to answer but you're not really answering, then I do have to say.
I've answered like 100 times. I don't know what you want me to say.
Do you seriously think you've answered the question?
Well, so if I tell you in my mind what you've said makes logical sense in the sense that
Okay,
there's no fallacy
sure,
to it.
exactly.
There's no fallacy. So in a sense that
Now you're using the
all
term
things-
fallacy.
Well, what I mean by that is there's no contradictions in your definition of God. That's what I mean when I say it makes sense. That's what I mean by that. There's no contradictions. So of course, logically speaking, that makes sense. But it doesn't mean that I believe in God. It doesn't mean that I
I'm not
think
saying.
that-
I'm not saying to
But that's
believe.
what I'm saying to you.
I'm saying. Believe. Look. Look. Belief is up to you. It's really up to you. I'm talking about statements of facts. That is. One second. I'm talking about factual statements that is independent from our feelings and our opinions. If I say, look, if somebody, look, let me give an example. If there's two people that's arguing whether this tree exists or not, if there's two people that's arguing whether this tree exists or not, okay, I don't really care what's my opinion, what's your opinion. Objectively, this tree exists whether we agree or
So
not.
what
You
you're
agree?
saying is your definition of God objectively is true, whether or not I agree with you. Is that what you're saying?
You just mentioned it. You mentioned it yourself. It makes sense, but I don't agree. So that's why I'm going into a rational inquiry. I think you employed secular argument. I didn't, because I'm going by your paradigm. Because so far we're on the same page. But we're on the same page.
I didn't set paradigm.
Sorry?
I didn't set any paradigm. I didn't give you any.
I set a paradigm. You set a paradigm.
How did I set a paradigm?
Okay. The fact that we've both come to conclusion that the message of Tawheed in Islam makes sense.
No, that's not what I said.
You just said that. It says it makes sense.
I said when you told me that God has to be, independent of other things, all powerful, so on
Yes.
and so forth, that makes sense in the sense that if I were to believe in a God, that definition of what a God is would make sense to me.
So you
That's
don't
what
believe?
I'm saying.
Okay, now I get where you're coming from. So you're deist then. You're just saying, look, there must be a higher being power,
I'm not
but I
saying
don't. Then what are you saying?
What I'm saying to you is that I wouldn't
If it
believe.
makes sense,
If you
you have to
told me,
believe
if you
it,
told
though.
me that God was, I don't know, Zeus,
Would you
I
believe
would say
it?
that wouldn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense to me either.
The way you've defined God, insofar as what I believe a God could be if it existed, that makes sense to me. But it doesn't mean that I think that God's real. That's all I'm saying to you. Can you
It doesn't
understand
make
that?
sense to me. It doesn't make sense what you're saying. Look, I'll be honest with you, Alexandra. This is why, with all due respect, this is just my opinion. To hold a position of atheism after listening to the concept of God in Islam,
You've not proven anything. You've made an argument.
I don't need to
Listened
prove.
it.
You've agreed it.
I've listened to
said
your
it makes
argument.
sense.
I
It makes
said that
sense.
It
You
makes
said
sense.
it makes
It
sense.
makes
Why does it make sense?
It makes sense because there's no contradictions in what you said.
Yeah. So if there's contradiction, then it can't be true. If there's no contradiction, then it has to be true. If there are contradiction, then it's false.
I can write a fantasy book right now. There can be no contradictions in it.
You-
Doesn't mean it's true.
I'm not talking about a book. I'm talking about the concept of God.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I think it does.
It does. Can I tell you why? Because
Alexandra, look, wait, wait, 1 second. We've all just Alexandra. We're gonna end the discussion here. I just want you to think because I think
I've had fun anyway.
look, it's for you to think about. It's for you to think about because I don't think anyone has actually explained to you. 1 second. I don't think anyone has actually explained to you the concept of God in Islam properly because
You explained this.
no. Before, now when we explain to
Can
you,
I be honest with you?
okay.
Do you know Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park?
Yeah, I go there
I've
every
been
week.
there many times.
Yeah, same.
I've spoken to Ali Dawah, I've been to dinner of Ali Dawah,
Okay.
Mohammed Hijab, all those guys. I know them quite well. I speak to them often. Okay.
Okay.
There's quite a few videos of
think
me
you
there
came
as
here
well.
to
But
challenge
but they're not proof. But they're not proof.
No, I know that. But
I'm not the
what
proof.
What I'm saying to you is that it's not that I know quite a bit about Islam. I came here because I like talking about religion, like I've told you before. I find it enjoyable, right?
Good.
Just because I don't know.
You can't explain it. I understand that.
I find it really weird. No.
Why is it weird?
I find it really weird that
It's a concept of submission. You just don't want to submit. Just to be honest, you just don't want to.
again,
You don't want to
you're
submit
being
to.
very arrogant.
No, that's the reality. That's the brutal reality. Because everything. Because you've spoken to Ali Dawah many times. You've spoken to Mohammed Hijab many times.
Because I find it interesting.
Okay, you.
Talk about religion.
No
I find
problem.
theism in general
I find it interesting. I'm a student of comparative religion as well. I find it very interesting, right? So my point,
I
look,
can be interested in religion and not believe in religion.
that's
Is that
that
not possible?
that's your belief. But
No, it's the truth. I'm interested.
so
in
you
religion,
believe you
but
have the
I'm
truth.
not-
But you believe you have the
no,
truth.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is, it's the truth that I'm interested in religion, but I'm not religious. That's the truth.
Yeah, of course. All I'm saying to you, Alexandro, is that the concept of God in Islam, it makes sense to you. Whether you agree or not, that's up to you. No problem. No problem. Whether you agree or not, that's up to you. Now Allah, He created us. He's not going to leave us misguided. Rather, He will. I'm only stating my belief now because right now we both agree that it makes sense that the concept of God in Islam makes sense. That's why I'm progressing.
As in, there's no contradiction.
That's up to you.
Yeah, it's
That's
fine.
up to you.
And it's a universal message as well.
That's up.
I know you find that's very important to you.
No, it's not very important. No, it's not important. It's not.
okay.
Wait, hang. It's not important for me to make you agree.
No. It's
Do you see the point?
it's important
I'm
for
only
you
to
to
convey the
prove
message of Islam.
that I've said something.
Yes.
And so for you that means something, that doesn't mean to me. That's what I'm saying.
But you don't have evidence. But you don't have evidence.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Understood.
So for you,
Understood.
that me saying it makes sense has very, very deep significance to you. It's very important to you that I've said that. For me saying it makes sense, it's not a throwaway comment, definitely not. I've said it because there's no contradiction to the words that come out your mouth. And so I agree with the words come out your mouth from a logical perspective. But that's all. Okay, so for you it means more than it means to me. That's all. Okay? So I want to make that clear.
Yeah. Look. Whether it means more to you than me, whatever. That's not my point. My point is to have a conversation, exchange information,
If that were the
and basically.
truth, so hung up on what
you said earlier on the message makes sense.
I'm here. We're all here to explain the message of Islam. Whether you like it, take it. If not, then that's up to you. No problem. But what I'm trying to say.
I love you guys do.
Yeah.
this.
No,
I
no, it's a
find it
pleasure
amazing.
speaking to you.
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
it amazing.
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
Yes.
Yes.
But honestly,
But why are we doing this?
But what are you here to
Why?
prove?
Yes,
no, to prove
exactly.
anything. I just
Okay.
like talking about
I
this
don't
stuff,
know why.
that's all.
Look, Alexandra. I don't know why we can't move on if we both say that the concept of God in Islam makes sense. I just want to progress in the conversation.
No, I know, but I would be happy to
Let's
do
progress.
that.
Why
I
not?
think, in my mind, of what I've seen, me allowing you to do that has got some kind of significance to you that doesn't have to. That's why I'm not willing to move on until you understand that. Fine, you believe me saying that means something. It doesn't mean that. Do you understand? So if you want to continue, we can move on. I'm happy to move on, but just don't
So
get hung up on me saying that.
do you want me to be honest with you,
Yeah, no, obviously, of course.
whether you like it or not? Because you said I came across arrogant. Okay, fine, no
I
problem.
think so.
Okay,
Because you're not,
but
you're not allowing me to explain things.
I think
You're
that,
assuming
wait one
that I-
second. I think
Yeah,
that
it's opposite,
I
yeah.
think there's a
I think you have been
wait
argu-
one second.
I think you have been arrogant. He showed you the concept of God
Yeah.
instead of proving him to be wrong. But you
I never
accept
accused
it.
I never accused you of being arrogant, by the way.
No, but I'm not here to disprove anyone.
But you just said I'm being arrogant.
No, because
But are you here to learn the truth?
The manner in which you've not allowed me to explain what I mean when I say something.
I've given you many times, Alexandra.
That there have been quite a few times also.
Many
it's fine.
opportunities.
It's true, but there have been a couple times as well where I've told you, no, that's not what I mean, and you've just kind of kept on.
That's why I asked for clarification, and you haven't.
You think I haven't, but I'm.
No, I asked you if that since the concept of God in Islam makes sense, why do you say you don't agree then? That's all I'm asking. I don't believe you answered the question. It's fine.
That's the point.
It's fine. What did you say?
That's not arrogance. If I say what's your name and you say it's Saturday, you didn't answer the question.
If you tell me, if I ask for your name and you tell me what you believe to be your name, I can't then say no.
I'm not interested in this quibbling stuff. All I'm doing.
That's what I mean.
You can you can challenge me. Look, you challenge me, but
Challenging you.
no, you have because you inquire about Darwin evolution.
No.
You question me.
I'm
Whether
drawing,
one second.
comparison. What
That's
I was
challenge. You're challenging my world viewpoint. I'm challenging your world viewpoint.
doing. It's not a world view. I don't have a world view.
That Darwin evolution. That's not a world viewpoint.
I don't know. If people say that's what happened.
I think I'm not interested. All I'm doing, I'm just stating our position, our belief. We explain to you the message of Islam, and if you said that the concept of God in Islam doesn't make sense, I'll say have a good day, have a good day, bye bye.
It's just Islam.
Exactly.
It's
That's
just
all- right. So can we move on? Whether you agree or not, I don't really care.
So what he's trying to
Because
say, he
you
conveyed
know
the
what?
message to you, it's up to
Let me
you.
give you one reason
It's
why.
up to you to investigate.
Yes, that's why.
Whether you
But
believe
can I
or
ask you
not.
guys one thing?
Yes,
Just one
yes,
thing.
yes.
And then,
It's time for Salah.
okay.
Yeah, you get his point.
Do you not think you saying I don't really care? Do you not think that's a bit arrogant?
But you said you don't care as well.
Okay, you can call me arrogant too.
No,
You
I'm
don't
not.
think
I didn't
that's
say
arrogant?
saying you don't care. That means arrogant. No,
Because you don't
I'm
care
saying
about
I'm.
what the conclusion that I
I'm gonna pray here, inshallah. Look, Alexandra.
We can pray in the mosque. We will pray now.
Alexandra, look.
Sorry, let me continue.
We're not here to win arguments or anything like that. I've said it many, many times. Sometimes in psychology, there's something called defense mechanism, a coping mechanism, which means that, look, things that make sense to you, which you didn't believe like 30, 40 years ago, it's all of a sudden that coping mechanism will kick in. Okay? Whether you agree or not, frankly speaking, I've done my job. I've conveyed the message of Islam because what we believe, Alexandra, is that, look, we're all going to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're all going to go back to Islam. We're all going to go back. We're all going to die. That's one thing that is certain in life, right? And then we're all going to be raised in the day of judgment, and there's going to be concept of reward and concept of punishment. And those who, yeah, I know. I'm not saying I've proven to you anything. I'm just saying what we believe. Yeah? Just to understand why we're having this conversation. That if the message of Islam makes sense to you, I know. It's not about you right now. I'm just saying what we believe.
Oh, I see. Okay,
What we
sorry.
believe.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah? It's called da'wah, invitation to Islam, not debating. I'm not here to debate. All I'm saying is that, look, we believe that Allah has given us a purpose in life. He created us to worship Him alone. He alone deserves to be worshipped because of so many blessings and favors He's given us, right? So we have to give the rights to the Creator alone. And we don't worship stones, statues. And He sent messengers throughout history to guide their people to the worship of one God alone. Okay? And then Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last and final messenger, confirming the message of the previous prophets, which is to worship Allah and abandon worshipping false gods. And then we'll be brought up on the day of judgment. And those who believe and did righteous good deeds, they'll enter paradise. But those who disbelieved after they know the truth and they want to follow their own way of life, then for them is hellfire. We don't sugarcoat things. Do you get the point? I'm not interested in debating with you. All I'm trying to I'm just trying to understand why you don't believe in God. And you trying to explain why I believe in God. You agree? That's what I'm doing. I'm not here to debate. I just believe in progressing the conversation because. Go on.
I appreciate everything you said.
Yes.
I don't know, because it's a bit of a sensitive topic. You know,
It's okay.
I was very
It's okay.
close to doing a shahada. My girlfriend, she's Bengali. I have 2 children with her. We live together, love her very much. It's been 10 years we've been together. I was very close to doing a shahada.
Okay.
Very, very close. About 3 years ago. Okay? And I hear this all the time. I probably can't even be bothered. I'm sure, right? To talk about this. But it's just the Prophet's marriage. You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Okay.
Aisha,
Yeah.
that there, if the Prophet's supposed to be the example for all time, how is that allowed? How is that possible?
Would that be a sufficient condition for you to accept Islam? If we answer all these questions. So I'm not going to wait.
It depends how you answer.
Well, therefore,
In the sense that I would, you would have to tell me, listen, she wasn't a child. That's a mistake, and then I'll be okay.
no.
You know
Look,
what I mean?
the reason why I say that is because I believe this is escapism. The reason I say
Why? Why do you think
the reason why I say that is because when the truth has come to the person and it's hitting them, you will try and find any other ways to justify.
you really believe that? You
Yeah,
really believe
I believe that
The only
because
reason
I
I'm
actually
not believing in
Yes.
Allah as the God
Yes.
is because I'm using the scapegoat of child marriage.
Ali Dawah must have answered it to you, right?
No, I've not spoken to her about it.
You haven't
I'll
spoken
be honest,
about
I
it.
haven't spoken to her about it.
Muhammad Hijab, you haven't spoken to him
I
about
haven't.
it.
I haven't.
So if that is your biggest, hang on. I'm wondering if that is one of your biggest reasons why you don't accept Islam. I'm wondering
Because
why you didn't answer that.
I'll tell you why.
Go
why.
on.
Because I've seen videos of them talking about it already. And essentially,
So you got the answer. Then
yeah, but,
okay.
but that's the point.
But
So
what
they
is the
just
point?
said,
How
at
does
the end
that?
of the day,
How does that
that-
prove?
that
how,
is the truth.
but how does that prove Islam is false?
Well,
How does that?
I'll tell
Okay,
you
go
why I
on.
think
Go on.
that.
Go on.
I'll tell you why I think that. Okay? And the thing is, you'll think I'm wrong anyway, it doesn't matter. But this is just my opinion. So then we understand each other, okay? In my mind, there is never, ever, ever a morally good or any justification to marry and consummate a marriage with someone that isn't an adult. Do you understand? So you can say, yeah, but back in the day, the girls
So you
were
know the
short,
argument,
quicker.
then what's
I
the-
know, but that's if the prophet's supposed to be.
That's
a-
emotional argument.
No.
That's
It's
with all
common
due respect,
sense.
it's an emotional argument.
I'll tell you my argument, and then you
Okay.
still think it's emotional. You can
Okay,
say that, and that's
okay.
fine, okay. If the prophet's supposed to be the example all time for men, I'm a man, you're a man. Yeah, we live now in 21st century. Okay. If the prophet's supposed to be that example, we're supposed to follow the prophet does even now, and I'm sure you try to follow the prophet does now, and I'm sure you wouldn't go and marry child. I'm sure you wouldn't do that. Okay?
No,
Exactly.
of course
Okay.
not. Why do you think? Why do you think?
Because you have common sense.
No.
You're not a pedophile.
No,
Very likely.
no, because Islam gives us the guidance of marriage and it gives us the principle, right? First of all, the female has to be mentally matured. The female
I'll let
has
you finish speaking, then I'll say
the
what-
female has to be physically
Do
mature.
you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I
No.
You don't mind?
No, I don't mind.
Thank
I don't
you.
mind. Yeah, but just not direct in front of me. Just
Yeah, I'm
do it
gonna
somewhere.
go.
Yeah. So there's a criteria that is set out. Yeah. First of all, she has to be mentally matured, physically able, okay, and her consent, okay. If you look at the geographical location, that was the norm. Yeah, that was the
I
norm.
know. Everywhere, all over the world.
Right.
Everywhere, I know.
Here's the beauty about Islam. There's no age that's fixed. The reason is because the parents, they know best when their children are ready to get married. This is the reason why if you go to one second, if you go to Japan, what's the legal age of marriage?
I'm not sure. I think it's quite old, isn't it?
I think it's 21.
Yeah, it's quite old.
What's the legal age of marriage here?
18, I think. 16 the parental permission, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if for example a British man goes to Japan and engages in a relationship with a 19-year-old,
Finished.
so that's subjective. Who's right and wrong here?
But I agree with your argument there.
Okay.
But it's different when we're talking about children. That's not quite the same thing. You know
But
what I
she's
mean?
not a child. The,
Well, from my understanding.
okay.
Can I tell you my understanding of it?
No, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Where do we get all of our sources regarding the age of Aisha?
Hadiths?
Hadith.
Yeah.
Is there anything outside the Hadith corpus?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay, so do you accept the testimony from Aisha?
I would have to.
Okay,
She said
I'll
it
show,
herself. I would have
yeah,
to. Yeah.
I'll show you the Hadith.
Before you do that, though,
Okay.
I just want to say one thing. Could it not also be true that because of the time in which she was born, for her, it would be normal, the circumstance of her marriage, her age? I've read some things where she thinks the Prophet is a great man, she loves him with all her heart, she sings his praises. But could it not be a condition of her environment, the time that she was living in? Could we say, could a young girl at that age that got married now to an old man, would they say the same thing knowing what they know? Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I understand what I mean. But where does the Quran and the Sunnah mention that a female reaches the age of 9? This is when you should get married.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't
the
say
age
that.
of puberty, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I know, but I still don't
Exactly.
agree with that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Do you agree that there's certain 40-year-old men that shouldn't get married?
40-year-old men.
Yeah. Do you think they're mature enough? Mentally mature
Oh,
enough?
I see. Probably not, no.
What about a 18 years old?
Probably some not, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not about the age, is it?
I don't think...
It's about physical capability and mental maturity, and the norm, the custom. So here's the hadith from Aisha. Let me get the evidence.
I want to say thank you for talking to me.
No worries.
Because
No.
I'm sure
Pleasure
you hear
speaking
this
to you.
all the time anyway, so...
Yeah. Pleasure speaking to you.
You too.
Let me give you the evidence. 1 second. Uh, Bear me 1 second.
Oh, that guy. I've seen him. He's in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, there's common faces. No worries. Oh, it's in Sunan Abu Dawud, but can't find the reference. Okay. I really apologize. Give me 1 second.
Don't worry, it's fine. I've got time. I've got to leave here around
No worries.
10 to 6.
No worries.
So we've got time.
Okay. No worries.
Most non-believers would tend to go with the kalam, saying, سمعنا وعصينا, which is I hear, but I disobey. Like I carry my life.
Oh, I see.
Is it fair to say this?
Sorry, 1 second, bye. Okay, Aisha said, if a girl, Jariya in Arabic, were to reach puberty at the age of 9, then she's a woman. That's her testimony. Yeah, so you accept your testimony, right?
I didn't realize that's what you were going to bring up when I said that.
Yeah.
But I accept that that's what she believes. Yeah, definitely.
Then who are we to question the Prophet's marriage then?
I know. In a sense, because obviously, but I wouldn't say that that's true.
Doesn't matter. It's her testimony.
I know. Obviously, because you hold that individual in very, very high regard.
No, it's not because of that.
No?
Not because of that. Because she said it herself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because she said it.
Yeah.
You hold her in high regard.
Yeah. So here's the problem. This is the argument from Western Orientalism. Yeah, Orientalists and Christian missionaries. This was not a criticism until 19th century.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Secondly, they are the ones who are critiquing the age of Aisha radiallahu anha to the Prophet's marriage. But they themselves also believe that this was a historical event. And that's only found in the Hadith corpus. It's not found in the non-Islamic sources. So they can't have their cake and eat it at the same time. Okay, meaning that when they critique the Prophet's marriage with Aisha, they're based upon the ahadith from Bukhari and Muslim and Tirmizi, and they have an issue. Oh, the Prophet got married to Aisha when she was 6 and consummated when she was 9. Yeah, okay, but they believe this is historically true. But then they don't want to accept when Aisha herself says that when if a girl reaches a woman at the age of 9, she's considered to be a woman.
Yeah, but
Why?
it's not surprising that she would believe that.
No,
It's not surprising.
it's not that. It's not that. I'm just talking about question of consistency. That look, they want to cherry
But
pick.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that this is what they do.
I know, I
Yeah,
get it, I
they
get it.
believe that this is historically happened. This
Yeah, but
this
then they
really
wanna
happened.
discount-
They want to
discount
discount
her
the
testimony.
Aisha's
I
testimony.
understand,
So
I
that hadith itself kills it. And she herself, more than 2,200 ahadith from herself, we got the narration about the Prophet peace be upon him.
But do you not think from I don't know if you're willing to do what I'm going to ask you, but would you be willing to separate yourself for a second from kind of not like prejudice, but like just answering things from a faith perspective, just from a moral perspective, purely moral. If you were to think, I don't know if you have kids. I got two boys. Yeah, but even my boys, right? If let's say they had puberty at 9, and an older woman wanted to marry one of my boys, and they could be so mature, they could be more mature than me. I couldn't say with faith, I'm going to allow that to happen.
I agree, because you're the father. If you look at the father of Aisha radiallahu anha, who was her father? Do you remember?
I don't know.
See, this is the problem. Not you particularly, but you have to really look into the details before anyone critiques.
Even if the father
One
said
second.
yes.
Did you know that she was previously engaged?
Yeah, he had to save her. That's the reason the Prophet married her, wasn't it? Because he
No,
saved
it was
her
it was a divine revelation.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So her mother's name was Ruman.
Right.
Her father's name was Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he is first of all, he was the best friend of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Yeah.
And secondly, he was the first caliph of Islam.
Right.
Right? We consider to be the best companion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was him and his wife, who were the parents of Aisha. They decided that this was the right time for her to get married. Just like you, for example, you said a few moments ago, even if my daughter reaches the age of puberty, I don't feel that she's ready to get married. That's you.
Well, I didn't
That's
say
you,
ready.
because it's relative. It's relative, because maybe your daughter's level of maturity and physical capability is different from hers. So the parents are the best people. They're the best people.
That wouldn't be the reason.
But you can't talk on behalf.
No, as in, that wouldn't be the reason I would say no. It's not that because their physical or mental capability.
You just don't
wasn't
feel
there.
like she's ready to get married.
I would just say that any child, no matter what they believe about themselves, give yourself another 10 years. From the age of 9, 10 years after that, you're going to be a completely different person. Regardless of how mature you thought you were at 9, or how mature the people around you
I agree with
thought
that.
you were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are a completely different person.
Yeah,
when you're
but
19.
that's
10
all
years
relative.
after that, when you're 29,
Because
you're a
you know
different
your
person.
daughter better than anyone.
But there are also some people, some parents, wait, sorry, just one thing, yeah? There are some parents, even now, okay, that arrange marriages for their children when they're young, sometimes they're even older, but when they're young. So it's not like because the parents said this is good, this is okay for my daughter, it doesn't mean it was.
So can you show me one evidence from Aisha herself that critiqued her parents for her to get married? Give me one evidence.
Aisha, most people in that time would think that that's normal. And I'm sure she would have loved and respected her parents, and she would have thought.
Then what's there to argue then?
No. But just because they have no problem with it doesn't mean it's not.
So where does she have a problem?
Whether or not she has a problem, it
You
doesn't
can't.
matter.
But you have to bring evidence,
What do you mean?
because you're making silence. You're making argument from silence. You have to provide evidence. Where did Aisha herself say, I had problem when my parents arranged marriage?
Listen, she could
Or
have had no problem with it. She probably didn't
then,
have any issue with it.
then I don't
But
see.
it doesn't mean it's
Then
right. It doesn't mean it's right.
that's up to you.
I know it's up to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's my opinion. That's the point.
But according to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Aisha, her mom, they're fine with it. Khalas.
And you-
Just
and
like in
you're-
Africa, they get married very young.
I know, but you're happy with that explanation.
Yeah, I'm happy. Why are we happy only 16-year-olds are allowed to get married, 18-year-olds? I'm not happy. I believe this country, majority 16-year-old, 18-year-olds are not mature enough. This is why if there was Islamic Sharia, they would go by the custom. So, for example, if there was Sharia in Britain, let's say, the caliphate has the right to stipulate a marriageable age because of the custom. So they see in Britain, majority of females and males, they're not fit to get married until 20 years old. But if there was a Sharia implemented in Africa, let's say, or in Asia, they would take into account the norm, the custom. So the marriageable age would probably be 12 years old or 10 years old. So that is the Sharia.
You don't think it's better that, regardless of the custom, that there is an established age in which maybe not most people, but a large number of individuals will reach this certain level of physical and mental maturity?
I just mentioned it. Yeah.
So
I just said it.
what I'm saying to you is
I just said that different countries have different customs at what age they're ready to get married. So what's the problem?
If you have a law that allows, even if the custom, if you have a law that allows 12-year-olds to get married, even if in general most of them, let's just say, are mature enough physically and mentally, there will always be those individuals, because of that law, that are not going to be ready, and they'll have to get married anyway.
What you're describing is exceptional circumstances.
I don't think that's true. I think that would be that.
But
If we had a law,
But you just 3 months ago, generally the custom is to get married 12 years old. No, the problem that you are highlighting, these are extreme circumstances. But general circumstances, if the people agree, 12-year-olds get to get married in Africa, who are we Westerners to impose on them? Who are we?
it's not made in Western.
It is.
But I don't think.
You don't realize, Alexandra, we're all product of colonialism.
Well, anyway.
We are.
But I don't think it doesn't matter how mature a child is. I don't think there is ever a time in which you could say it's fine for that 12-year-old to get married. I don't think it matters how
With
mature
all due
they
respect, that's because you're coming from the lens of you bringing up your own daughter.
No, I haven't got a daughter. I've got 2 sons.
Oh, sorry, 2 sons.
Yeah.
But I'm saying someone else, they'll have a different viewpoint from you.
They'd be wrong. 100%.
Objectively, can you show me?
Objectively.
Yeah, objectively. You keep fixating on age. Why does age matter? A 40-year-old man who's mentally disturbed,
Exception doesn't make the rule.
who's mental, you made that. You made the exception to the rule.
I didn't.
Because
The
you said
rule is,
generally
speaking, there were no 12-year-olds.
no. All you're telling me, I feel this, I feel that. That's all subjective. I'm saying on a collective level, if the society agrees. Okay, do you know liberalism? Liberalism?
Liberalism.
Yeah, liberalism.
Yeah,
Okay.
liberalism.
Do you know who's the father of liberalism?
No.
John Locke.
John Locke.
Yeah? He lived in around 17th century.
Yeah.
He believes in the concept of social contract.
Right.
Social contract meaning if there's an agreement between the government and the citizens, then you can enforce that law. For example, apostasy.
Okay.
According to liberal values, that's acceptable.
Yeah, obviously in theory.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's liberal value.
Yeah.
So what's the
I'm going to say I'm
so
liberal
what's the
myself,
problem?
but,
Well, you don't. But here's the problem: a lot of people don't historically go back to the origins of their position, because
But I think,
wait one second. Because what's happening now is that I think learning history is very important, Alexandra. I think it's very important because it sets the tone of where we are today. Okay, liberal values. When they talk about liberal values, they don't understand that the founder of liberalism, John Locke, he agrees in enforcing apostasy law because he came up with the concept of social.
I'm not sure he would
No,
say,
in
if
practice,
you asked him, would
he
say,
says
"Do you want to enforce
atheists are more intolerant than the Christians. That's what he mentioned.
Maybe he was right. Who knows at the time? Who knows?
But I'm just stating facts here. So he says that in a liberal society, there'll always be a concept of social contract. As long as the government and the citizen agree, then they can enforce it. So similarly, if the Sharia states that in this particular country, 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they're ready to get married between the government and the citizens, that's in accordance with liberal values. What's the problem?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, and that would be fair enough because at 18, in the society that we've built, that is the time in which individuals get more responsibility.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Fine, but I think that. I know
Exactly.
you always saying I think. I understand that. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna leave that. And I'm gonna say something else. Okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna say this. How do you feel about the individuals. They use the Prophet's marriage to Aisha
Yes.
to justify sort of perverted practices nowadays.
Are you talking about Islamic? Are you talking about Muslims? Give me an example.
For example, like grooming gangs happens, or
Oh, come on,
individuals-
Alexandra. Come on, Alexandra. Come on.
Why is that reaction?
Come on, Alexandra.
Why?
I just feel.
The only reason I'm bringing it up
I
is
just look. Do you know a few months ago you mentioned that I don't believe in slavery. I don't believe that I'm enslaved. You have been enslaved by the media.
so you don't exist. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying your conclusion, grooming gangs, all that stuff. You've been fed by the media. That's called mind control.
Can I tell you something?
This is
I am
why.
not
This is
someone-
why. This is
I am
why.
not someone-
Can I
No, I'm
just?
going to respond to what you said.
Okay, go on.
Okay,
Go
sorry,
on.
just a second.
You haven't
I'm going to be
investigated.
really, really honest with you, okay? I am not someone that watches the news or the media and gets fed shit and believes it.
But that's the same narrative.
As much as I possibly can, I will look for evidence.
If somebody brings up about grooming gangs, it's the same category as those who are like people of the fascists, like EDL and all that. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that's one of their reasons.
Listen, this is what I think about EDL. EDL, they're all racist, okay? But they will find things and they will use to justify their racist position. Unfortunately,
Okay.
that's what they're doing.
Let me ask
It
you.
doesn't mean those
Okay.
things don't happen.
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
The one thing I'm going to say.
Okay, go on.
So I'm a little bit disappointed. I'll be honest with you. The truth, you can't look at things, yeah, that happen that are bad, and say, oh no, those things don't exist, they don't happen, or they're a tool for racists or blah blah blah, and they're not really. You have to address these problems. There are always going to be issues within any community, any religion, and if you don't address them and not honest about them, they're going to keep on happening. You can't ignore this kind of stuff.
First of all, there's no grooming gangs in Islam. This,
I'm not saying
sad-
it's an Islamic
sadly
but
speaking,
there are
well, you
individuals-
are because you wouldn't bring that up because you said, "Can I mention about other perverted acts?" You mentioned that, okay? First of all,
individuals,
yeah, but that's
they would do it regardless.
one second. Here's my response. Islam is perfect. Muslims are not. Okay.
That's fair enough.
Right,
but
right,
that's why
right.
I asked the
So,
question.
so now I want clarification from you. When you brought up grooming gangs, are you ascribing that to Islam or are you ascribing that to the Muslims?
This is what I'd say to that question. What I'd say is definitely the individual responsible for what they do. But I'm sure there are certain people, and obviously you think, not you think you have a monopoly, but you have your perception of the correct circumstances in which an individual should be getting married, and so on and so forth.
No, you said you want to, no, but no, you said you want to move on from marriage.
Yeah.
Now you want to bring about grooming gangs. So let's stick. Let's stick to grooming gangs. So
I'm
are you
trying to give context to what I'm saying.
I think you have. You're trying to connect grooming gangs. You're saying that not every Muslim does it. Yeah, we agree with that.
I'd say
But you're
very small
are you saying
minority.
there must be a cause for them to do it?
No, that's not what I think. But I'll give you an example. I spoke to a Muslim, someone I've worked with at a previous job. I work in IT. I used to work for the NHS.
IT, yeah, okay,
I used to work for the NHS.
nice.
There was a Somalian guy, and I was speaking to him about this.
Yes.
And I asked him, "Do you think that's correct? Like, would you do that now, for example?" And he said to me, "Well, the Prophet did it, so I don't see why I shouldn't be able to." And probably he wasn't very educated, not like you, for example. So probably that's not really the case. But what I'm saying, there are probably people that aren't very educated.
I agree.
That will take that and they will think, well, then I will justify. Obviously, they're messed up in their heads already, so they'll probably do it already. But what I'm saying to you is that they will take that and they will make themselves feel okay about the bad things they're doing because of that.
Yeah, but Alexandra, you said it yourself. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
It's due to the person.
I know.
Yeah,
but
it's nothing to do with religion. I don't,
felt about it.
but I don't know why you brought up grooming gang when you said yourself that the religion doesn't teach that. It's the people are doing it, and you have some issues with that. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala will hold them accountable. That's why I'm saying Islam is perfect. Islam is based upon the Quran and the teaching of the Prophet. Muslims are not perfect because we're sinners. Do you get the point? So do not evaluate Islam based upon the actions of the Muslims. And for your information, do you believe majority of grooming in this country are
I know it's not.
are Asians?
I know it's not.
Muslims?
I know it's not.
So why do you bring it
I
up?
know, because everything, just like you said, there's cause and effect. Everything has a cause and effect.
So in other words, you say there is something in Islam.
I don't think it's as black and white as
Just-
yes or
just-
no.
just be
I think
honest.
I'm being honest. I I'm
No,
telling
you,
I'm
you
not-
just
then I
just
think
said there's
I'm not-
cause and
I'm-
effect.
Yes. So there is definitely, right? Some people are going to use that marriage to make themselves feel better about the bad things they're doing. I don't think you can't be like no or yes. If people aren't as educated as you, for example, on the circumstances in which that happens.
I don't deny that.
Okay,
But then,
what I'm
is that a
trying to say
problem
to
with you?
Is that a problem for me?
Is that a problem for you? Are you associating that with Islam?
Well,
See, be honest.
Can I say, yeah,
You
I'm
have.
being honest, I'm being honest.
So
I'm
are
being
you?
honest. I am to a degree, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because, wait a second.
Right.
Because if Islam is perfect, the Quran is perfect, God is perfect, and I'm telling you this, open hearts.
I said it to you ages
Open
ago.
hearts, yeah. How has God allowed these things to be misconstrued in such a way?
Because this life is a test for the hereafter. Okay, He's given us the free will. He's given us the choice. Okay, so that's my answer. Secondly, right? Who are the majority of the British people here? Do you believe majority of groomers are Asian Muslims?
No, they're not. They're white, or men. Like, old,
White men.
like 60-year-old
So does
men.
anyone question? You know what? I know the British culture is very. Wait, one sec. Let me complete. The British culture is very liberal. We completely condemn pedophilia and grooming. Yeah, let's not scrutinize white people who are the majority. But it's okay. But it's okay. But it's okay. Wait, hang on 1 second. But it's okay to question a Muslim about grooming gangs and whether that's connected with Islam or not. I feel there's double standards.
No, I'm not that person. I scrutinize the British white people and what they do and why they do it, just as much as I scrutinize anybody else. And you may think I don't, but if you talk to my girlfriend who will know me,
I don't.
Yeah,
Look.
I can't prove that
I
to
think
you,
we're all.
but
I
that's
think
the
we,
truth.
I think we've all been affected by colonialism.
Of course we have.
So white people are immune from criticism, but ethnic minorities, they're always.
I'm not white, and I do criticize.
I know that. I know that. Even the Asian communities are exactly the same. Yeah, they are brainwashed by colonialism. Okay, and they think that they're the standard. They're the standard when it comes to beauty, when it comes to finance and economics and morality, right? And so therefore, it's a good distraction of not critic. Fine, but then I'm just saying that you're intelligent, Alexandra. You know it. That grooming gangs has nothing to do with Islam. I'm just trying to understand why you would bring that
I'll
up.
tell you why. Because I want to understand how you felt about that. That's why I asked.
So are you testing my morality then?
I know. I'm testing.
No,
I'm trying to
Alexandra.
explain-
That's
I'm
not.
trying to explain it.
Sorry,
Please don't make assumptions. Please. Okay?
but
I
you just
wanted
did.
to see what your opinion was.
Why do you
on-
want to know my opinion?
I'm talking to you. I
No,
want to know your opinion on it.
you're talking. Alexandra, you know that Islam doesn't teach grooming gangs.
I don't think
So
that-
why do you
I-
want my
no, no, no. I
opinion?
know that it's grooming gangs, 100%. Yes, that's
So
true.
so wait, hang on. Why? No, Alexandra.
Yeah.
You know deep down, you know it that Islam doesn't advocate for grooming gangs, and you're asking me what's
There's
my
no
opinion
deep
about
down.
grooming.
I know that 100%.
But you're asking me about my opinion about grooming gangs.
Because when I talk to you about Asia, and I talk
Where
to you
are
about
you
that
from?
marriage,
Where are you from, Alexandra?
what my background?
Yeah, background.
My mum's Italian, my dad's Costa Rican.
Costa Rican. What do you think about Costa Ricans? What do you think? They do lots of crimes, right?
Not really.
They don't.
Not really. No.
Costa Ricans don't.
No, not
South
as much
America?
as the rest of Latin America.
Are they known for racism? Are they known for drugs cartels, and all?
Colombia and.
Still, same difference to me.
Of course not. It's not the same
Why
thing.
not?
Because there's not. That's why.
Do you see the point I'm making?
No, you're like, it's not
The
same
point.
thing.
Do you see the point I'm making? Which is, for me to bring these, Costa Ricans is a cheap shot, because I know Costa Ricans. Not everyone is like that, and I would not. I would, and every culture, even I'm from Bangladesh. Yeah, I'm the first one to critique my own culture. Yeah, yeah. But there are some good things about it.
I know.
Okay, good.
Listen to me. My
Wait.
children are half Bengali.
But Alexandra,
So you can't tell me I've got an issue with my
Alexandra, the fact that you brought about grooming gangs, from my experience, from what I saw in the media, the only one who brings up these stuffs are those who have negative view about Islam.
I don't.
But you do. You don't like it.
I don't like Islam.
No, I didn't say that.
told you earlier.
You don't want to admit that you have negative views about Islam.
I don't have negative views. I told you earlier that I was so close taking my shahada. How can you say then that I've got negative views?
Do you know that's not surprising?
What do you mean?
There are many people that told me I'm close to take Shahada, but
I just can't wrap my head around this.
I,
the explanation you gave
oh,
me, I
that,
can't
that,
wrap my head around
oh, that, no, it's very common.
I know that
It's very
I'm
common.
sure
Many
you're fed
people
up.
say
I'm sure you're fed
it's
up.
close to take shahada, but I think it's a question of submission.
To be honest, if I had true belief, I wouldn't mind
No.
submitting. It's not really about that.
No,
I
no,
just can't ascribe.
no, I'm just being brutally honest with you.
Yeah.
You may not like it.
Yeah.
Don't take it as an offense.
No, don't worry.
But human beings are prone to follow their desires, and they have a problem of submitting themselves to the Creator alone, who created us, and He's the one that's dictating us what's good, what's bad, and therefore, when the message of Islam came to you and you accept it to be true, you try and find any excuses. So the excuses will be like the Prophet's moral character, this and that. By the way, the Prophet's character is actually one of the reasons why Islam is true. Did you know that he was known as As-Sadiq al-Amin? Did you know he was known as the honest and trustworthy by his own people?
Of course they would say that.
Why do you think they say that?
If you go to, there are plenty of very bad people around them who are great people. Like, it doesn't necessarily prove it.
Again, you keep thinking about 21st century like there's. You're talking about globalization. No. Did you know they live in a tribal society?
Yes, of course.
So you know how the tribal society operates.
Yes, they're loyal to a fault.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he has relations, right? He has relatives. He's connected to the Quraysh. He's connected to Banu Hashim. Yeah? They knew each other like clubs. Small population. It's not like today where you have millions of people and like in the age of social media, I'm just going to trust what... No. They knew him for 40 years before he accepted the Prophet.
Would you ever... Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay? So the problem is, don't...
Would you ever disparage someone who is, your leader? You wouldn't do that, would you?
I believe that's one of the reasons why Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 3 years after his prophethood, Allah instructed him to publicly announce the message. So he got all of his people. You know it? You know it?
Yeah, it was in Mecca, wasn't it? Where Mecca is now.
Yeah, Mecca.
Yeah.
So he says, if I was to tell you that an army would come behind and cause us destruction, would you believe in me? And they say, yeah, you're the honest, you're the trustworthy. But notice,
When I tell you blah, 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 then you know I'm saying the truth.
what was their response?
Well, some of them disbelieved him, didn't they?
I know, but did they ever say he's lying?
Well,
No.
assuming they didn't, yeah.
No, they didn't. Never.
Because they wouldn't assume that of his character, would they?
Exactly.
I understand what you're saying. And I'm sure he believes
Did
that.
you know Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the most influential figure in history?
I know it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Did you know that no army, I challenge you to find me one commander, one general who gave amnesty. You know what happened to the Prophet? After 23 years of being tortured, 13 years in Mecca, he was tortured. 10 years, he came to Medina and he established his as the head of state. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, conquered Mecca, oh, no problem. When the Prophet conquered Mecca, he came with 10,000 people marching. Easily, he could have exercised his power. He could have executed all of them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, only one person. So, the disbelievers, they said to the Prophet, oh nephew, we know you. Have compassion upon us. We know that you're honest. We know that you're merciful towards us. You know what the Prophet said? He said, I'll let you go. You're free to go. There's not a single commander who did that in history. Not a single, I challenge you. So when somebody is trying to portray Islam in a bad way, it's because they haven't studied the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And I actually advise you to study his life.
I will.
Okay?
I was watching a documentary about the life of the Prophet on YouTube. I've watched like halfway, so I'll finish it. But listen, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. May Allah guide you, Alexandra. Yeah. Pleasure speaking to you. Yeah?
And I'm sorry if some of the things that I've said have you felt been unfair. I don't mean to be unfair, but if I have
There's nothing for you to apologize.
If I have questions and you seem like you're willing to answer them, I just wanted to ask what I felt in my mind, and that's what I did.
I'm not offended.
Good.
Because this will be a witness for the Day of Judgment. Okay? Pleasure to speak to you, Alexandra.
So, brother, what before you go? Yeah, you said we don't care. Of course, we care about you. Before
It's up to him.
it's about
It's up
the
to him.
argument you make. This is what I heard from
It's up to him. Look,
but
brother,
we do
brother.
care, and we're inviting you
Yeah.
to the truth.
I understand what you're saying.
So
All-
it's up
all-
to you
look,
whether to believe or not.
All we do, we just presented
Yeah,
it.
You
president,
post this on
exactly.
YouTube. Is that what you guys
Yeah,
do?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Could I just get the name of this so that I can see it?
Okay,
Can I get the
okay.
name
Go
of
for
the
it.
Yeah, it's
channel?
fine.
No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Have
No
you
problem.
progressed anything yet?
Thank
I've
you.
had a very interesting conversation.
Interesting conversation. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Love.
What's the name of the channel where this is going to be on?
Dawah to soul.
Just type in Stratford Dawah. Yeah, you don't need to type in all the channels.